The retired police investigator who calls himself a gang expert, says he said to her, "A dis you a dis me ina gial. You have D2 baddest man dem and you wan offer me $100,000? You mad? A 2 rifle you afegi me." He says she assured him that was quote, "No problem once DG come out." The retired policeman explained that he didn't charge Christie for bribing him as he believed she was an influential member of the gang and he could use her as an inside source.
Good day, my wonderful people. It's me again, the great, one more great countryman. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit your notification button. Now, when you hear the clip, we'll play a little while. And the police officer is still on the stand, and he's discussing everything from how Muma CHRISTIE tried bribing and how them refer to black man as the G, and him realize Muma CHRISTIE was trying to use him to get information. There's quite a couple different things the officer explained, and it's very fascinating listen to it to see how they operate. From what I see, they're dangerous, but they're like bumbling bandits. They're like the 33 Stooge them, because just the way how them do things, you can tell they're crazy and they were going down. But not only that, it just seems like there was no conscience in that crew. You understand? And everything was directed at feeding their ego. But one special thing, you guys follow me little, let me run up my mouth, and then you can watch the rest of the video. Make sure you watch the rest of the video. But they were totally broke. They were broke. Yo, my little son have more money than them. Save up in them damn piggy bank. But they were like universally broke. Jai, yo, they were like broke badness. That's all I'm seeing. And then, like I said before, the way they did extortion was crazy, because they killed the dude, the Juta bus guy, and then they don't get no money, and now they hot. So I don't know how you work that out. If you kill the money bag or you kill the cash cow, they're real dummies. And the policeman was a very well put together policeman, because he was very intelligent and he was on point with these gangs. Because I hope the judge listened to him and listen to what he's saying, because one thing I know why he's a good policeman, that man documented everything. The inner workings of the gang, how them dress, the words them use. You understand? How them shake them hand, use the middle finger. So that policeman was on point, because that's how police work. They document everything. Make sure they take notes everywhere they go. Now, last but not least, before I go, at the end of this video, they had a little beef in the courthouse, and you could hear some of what black man them a say. You know, it's reread over, unquote. But black man said he was gonna give a statement, and you know, and they were complaining about Andrew Holiness badness, and in another video that I had seen, they were complaining, the prison warder them a treat them. And to me, them kind of cold-blooded murderer, they shouldn't complain about nothing. When the luck you have in a life, but the man them a whine like some bitch dog. And boy, them a do badness, and them can't do time, and them don't know how to do badness to rascal. And that are the problem with enough of them pussy there. And pardon my language, what make them so blood clot dangerous is that the fucker them can't get gun. But them don't know nothing about blood clot badness and how to make money, and so if you extort the person, you extort, I will love you. Pussy. Them don't know for do nothing. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and stay and watch the end of this video. Country girl, country boss, nuclear rebel, truck boss, Westmoreland boss, and garage boss. Big up on yourself. 306 Countryman. I'm out.
The retired crime fighter says as he was about to interview alleged gang leader, Andre Blackman Bryan, when a woman came and introduced herself as Stephanie Christie Cole, aka Mama. The prosecution asked the witness to point her out in court, and Christie stood up promptly in the dock. The witness then said, "That's the great Mama." The witness says in 2017 he asked Christie how she managed to have two of the quote, baddest man dem ina Jamaica. He says she replied saying, "Me ting up like dat ina, me ting up like dat." He says she asked him what she could do to have the G. Bryan released. According to the retired officer, nothing made Bryan happier than when he was referred to as the G. In court today, Bryan shook his head as the witness made that remark. The witness says Christie said to him, quote, "Things can happen Ina, things can happen." He says at that point she offered him $100,000 for Bryan's release. The retired police investigator who calls himself a gang expert, says he said to her, "A dis you a dis me Ina gial. You have D2 baddest man dem and you wan offer me $100,000? You mad? A 2 rifle you afegi me." He says she assured him that was quote, "No problem once DG come out." The retired policeman explained that he didn't charge Christie for bribing him as he believed she was an influential member of the gang and he could use her as an inside source. He says he realized Christie was trying to use him to source information about his investigation into the criminal organization. But he says he would play along while misleading her. The policeman says he used Christie to get the real name of the alleged gangster City Puss. The retired policeman says he'd heard several voice notes from the alleged gangster demanding extortion money from business people in Spanish Town and warning them not to make police reports. He says based on information given to him by Christie, he went to the Horizon Remand Center and confirmed that Jason Brown was a convict there. The policeman says Brown answered to the name City Puss and his voice matched that he heard on the voice notes demanding extortion money. The retired officer says he presented himself as a gangster and spoke of things Brown would have known, so the alleged gangster could open up to him. That conversation with Brown, he says, lasted about an hour, ending when he told Brown he was a policeman and that he was charging him for gang crimes. That's when all hell broke loose, the officer says. He says Brown's extortion voice came out using several expletives and making threats. Meanwhile, a member of the police security detail and one of the defendants were today engaged in an altercation inside the courtroom. The incident happened as the defendants were being led from the courtroom following the adjournment of today's proceedings. The policeman could be seen hitting the defendant while they were still inside the courtroom. It's not clear what resulted in the altercation. Some of the defendants could be heard raising concern. Alleged gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan shouted, "Look how him a do d man. Me a go give a statement. Me a go give a statement." Another defendant remarked, Police state, Andrew Holness badness, government badness. While another said, me can wait fi get justice. Some attorneys went to the defendant's defense but the policeman resisted their appeal to desist from hitting the accused. Eventually the policeman relented and all the defendants were led away. Last month another altercation between members of the security force and defendants reportedly resulted in 2 policewomen being injured.